check, test, 1, 2. Hello, hello. Let's see. How we looking here? Oh, it looks like we got good audio. Video looks good. It is 7 p.m. And very happy with that. So we'll just mute that. Good evening, my friends, and welcome to live stream number 100. I can't believe it. 100 RV live stream Q&As. It seems like I just started this yesterday, and in fact, it was 2 weeks ago. Or 2 weeks. Let's try 2 years. How's that sound? Yeah, I am surprised at the number as anybody, really. I mean, I guess time flies when you're having fun. And in general, I found that the live streams are extremely fun. Have made quite a bunch of really good friends. I'll get it out if I spit it out. And so yeah, here we are. It's live stream number 100. And I want to welcome everybody. Run over as usual and check this chat stream here in just a minute. But while we're kind of waiting for a few more folks to get connected, I'm going to run down real quick just kind of how I think I'm going to start to do these. This will start next week. We're going to do a little test this week and see how it works. So I'll be looking for some feedback towards the end of the stream. But I'm going to start out the stream with a question of the day. And that's going to be to gain some information from those of you that are on the stream and get your feedback on a particular topic. I was really happy with the feedback we got last week when we asked about, tips for newbie RVers. And so this week, the question is, if you were going to make a recommendation on your favorite place to camp, where would that be? Throw a comment over in the chat window. If it's like state parks, national parks, if there's a specific park, maybe it's BLM dry camping, which I really like. Or something like that. So tonight's question of the evening, if you'll throw a chat or a comment over in the chat window, is what is your favorite place, or where is your favorite place to camp? And there'll be questions coming up in the future like, have you ever been denied access to an RV park because your rig's too old and stuff like that. And so be looking out for those, and we'll chat about that throughout the stream tonight. Then we're going to have sort of a main topic, and we'll chat about the topic that I've chosen, or one that you choose. If you just make a comment on maybe a topic you'd like to see me cover related to RVing in the chat window, then I'll keep track of those. And potentially the next week we'll use your subject for a chat subject, or for a discussion. This week, we're going to be talking about the difference between maintenance agreements and extended warranties. I really have seen a lot of confusion out and about with folks thinking that they had roadside assistance when they really only had an extended warranty that they bought when they bought their RV, and or vice versa. I saw somebody the other day that mentioned that they had roadside assistance and were upset that it didn't fix their furnace for them. And so they are distinctly different, and we're going to talk about that for just a minute. And then something else I'm going to do tonight is, for everybody who leaves a comment, I'm going to keep track of all of those comments, and I'm going to select at random from the commenters 4 people and give you a $20 gift certificate to Amazon. Just my thanks for sticking with me through thick and thin through 100 of these streams, and helping me make this stream what it really is. And it works only if you guys are there and you help me out with your great questions, your comments, and that sort of stuff. So for the next hour, everybody that comments, I'll be keeping track of your names. And then you'll have to tune in next week, and we'll announce the winners. I'll get some email addresses. We'll do that offline so I can email you your gift certificate for Amazon. And that's just a thank you from me to you those of you that come here and help me make this a great stream. So thanks. All right, let's slip over to the chat real quick and just see who all's in tonight, at least who's checked in. If you haven't dropped a comment, be sure and do that. Drop a comment. Just let me know where you're watching from. That's always nice. So Gary's in from Arizona. Thanks you, Gary. You've been a great guy, and I really enjoy having you here. By the way, folks, Gary has his own YouTube channel. And in fact, Gary, if you'll offline email me a link to your channel. I think I have one, but email me one anyway, so I can share it with folks in the stream. And then Scotty's in from the Pacific Northwest. He is also been kicking around for quite a while. He says he thinks he's been on about 10% of the 100 live streams, but enjoyed them all, and that was really kind of you. Thanks, Scotty. Bruce, Vincent RV Life, is checking in from Lake Wales, Florida, and it's nice to have you here and to have you have had you support the channel in the ways that you have. It's really greatly appreciated. Let's see who else is in. Oh, John Besmick's in. Hey, John, I think, were you the one that asked the question about the auto start in a low battery situation on an Onan 10K generator? I failed to write down who it was, so I couldn't respond to you via email, but it seemed to me like I remembered you having an email, or me having your email. So if that was you, John, let me know, and we'll chat about that in just a minute, because I did run down some pretty interesting information about that. Scotty was talking about something, and I don't know if anybody else has heard about this. If you have, throw it over in the chat window. That there are, what did you call this, Scotty? Let's see. I'm going to go back here. Oh, you know what? I know what the problem is. I can actually read the text now. I don't have to lean clear across my desk. Scotty was talking about anyone else planning to watch RV Unplugged, a YouTube exclusive RV reality show. I have not seen anything about that. Is anybody else? I know that might be interested in checking it out, as long as it's not on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Let's see, who else is in? 10, he says 10 RV YouTube bloggers, couples, are going to be on it. Well, that just counts me because I'm not a couple. John Besmick, we checked in with John. Vincent RV Life, thank you for the 100th birthday wishes. Eric Myers is in. Hey, Eric, so good to see you in. Still hanging out in Arizona. Hopefully the weather started to warm up for you a little bit. Tim Myers checking in. Tim, you're a great guy, and I appreciate you being here with me tonight. Scotty, thank you so much for the super chat. That was super kind of you. I really appreciate that. Kat, there's a new face and name coming in from Massachusetts. It's so nice to have you here. I love Massachusetts. I often thought about when I was younger living in Boston. I always had some kind of a draw to Boston. Jim Bertrand, Jim's checking in. I guess, Jim, you're probably still down in the warm weather, but he's usually up in Winnipeg. So thanks for checking in, Jim. It's great to have you here. Oh, Robert Black checking in as well. Nice to have you here. Thanks, Robert, for the good wishes. RV Living Life. Hey, it's good to see you here. Happy to have you along. You commented for the first time. I think that was you on Truck Camper just the other day. And so, yeah, thanks for joining us on the live stream. I'm very happy to have you here. And so, let's see. We will, let's just look through the comments on the question of the day. Remember that if you're just joining, this is celebrating my 100th live stream. I'm mixing things up. We are going to start the streams now with a question of the day. That today is, where's your favorite place to camp? Whether it be a campground, an RV park, boondocking, anything like that. Just throw it in the chat window and we'll get back to it here in a bit. Let's see. And so we've got, Kat says, West Thompson Lake Campground in North Grosvenordale. Grosvenordale? I hope I got that right. Connecticut is my favorite place. Oh, it's an Army Corps of Engineers campground. You know, the Army Corps of Engineers campgrounds don't get as much mention as they should. I've stayed at a number of Corps of Engineers campgrounds. In fact, there's several around here. There's a really good one up in Montana at a reservoir up there that I really like to stay at. Tim says he hasn't made it to any of the national parks yet and have not done any boondocking, so his experience is limited. So far, his most favorite times have been at state parks. Yeah, you know, state parks are really good, and it brings up a reminder to me that, you know, the only drawback really to the state parks and sometimes the national parks is that they often have length limitations on how big a rig you can get in there. And so, I mean, that's probably the only thing. I remember I stayed at a state park up in Missouri. This would have been in 2012. And I'm trying to remember the name of the state park, but the sites were really, really small. And I had to drop my car, my tow dolly. It took me 25 minutes to jiggle wiggle into this camp spot. It was a great place to stay. But yeah, it was kind of a hassle to get in that one. And I've been in others that are pretty small. Craters of the Moon National Park happens to come to mind as far as small for a 40-foot Class A. Scotty says Washington State Parks are his favorite for local camping with full hookups. That's cool. Gary, BLM land both ways, boondocking and also with a camp host like at Burrow Creek. Yeah, and BLM has some developed campgrounds too. There's several BLM campgrounds around here. Well, there's a lot because there's a lot of BLM ground here in Idaho and Oregon and Washington for that fact. But yeah, we have several BLM developed campgrounds here in the great state of Idaho. John Besmick makes a good point. He says, in his experience, individual county parks are really affordable and personable. Yeah, as a matter of fact, and I would totally agree with that one, John. One of my favorite ones is Juniper Campground, and that's on Ryrie Reservoir, and that is a Bonneville County park. And it is just really nice, very well taken care of. It's close to a lot of really cool places around there. Really, a 100-year-old hot spring called Heisey Hot Springs is in that area. Lots of fishing and that sort of stuff. And you're really only about an hour, maybe an hour and 10 minutes from Jackson. That'd be Jackson Hole. So yeah, it's pretty handy. It's on US 26, about 15 minutes west of Idaho Falls. Thank you, Two Feathers. Appreciate your congratulations. RV Living Life. He says, I cleaned up our extended warranty. I'm renewing it again in the fall for 4 years for $8K Canadian dollars. Excellent. We're going to talk more about extended warranties and roadside assistance in just a minute. Judy Kimbrough votes for the Great Smoky Mountains. I would agree with that. I also like the Blue Ridge Parkway. Both of those on the East Coast are just amazing places to go camping. I guess probably my only main complaint might be on the East Coast is that there's not as much free ground BLM open camping. It's out there and available, but it's much rarer. But there's also a lot more state parks, like in Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama. They have a lot of state parks and a lot of Corps of Engineers parks, especially along the Mississippi River there. Robert Black likes Sedona, Arizona. He likes it there a lot. Sedona is a cool place, absolutely. Cat from Missouri, or from Michigan, Massachusetts. I'll get it out yet. Cat from Massachusetts is trying to tangle my tongue tonight, and I don't need any help in that department, obviously. She says, Massasoit State Park and Wells State Park in Massachusetts are her next favorites. Massasoit. I hope I'm saying that right. Massasoit. Okay. Good to know. Vincent RV Life. They like BLM camping near Lake Havasu, Arizona, and they like the Topsail State Park in Destin, Florida. I've never been to Topsail. I stayed at a couple places on the Panhandle in Florida, And Lake Havasu, yeah, I had a really good friend of mine that ran the boat across the lake there at Lake Havasu for years. Julie Strauss, hey, it's nice to see you, Julie. Yes, it was you. Okay, John. Let me get through the rest of the comments, and then we'll talk about your low battery auto start for your generator. And Julie's checking in from Southern Illinois. Cool. I've been to Lake Taylorville. I stayed there for a week. I had friends that were in Taylor. Was it Taylor? Taylorville? Yeah, it was Taylorville, Illinois. They were about maybe 45, 50, maybe an hour south of Springfield, Missouri. And I spent a couple of days up in Springfield doing the whole Lincoln thing. Really cool place up there. So welcome, Julie. It's nice to see you again tonight. Eric Myers says, out of the way Heartland RV parks. Okay. RV Living Life, he says he has a 10K Onan and has the auto start figured out. Okay. Cool. So we'll recycle back to that in a minute. Don't let me forget that. Julie Strauss, oh, she says, okay, we were talking about that. So she's referring back to the RV unplugged thing. Tim Meyer says he plans to watch. The Grateful Glampers are a couple I moderate for. Okay, Tim, good to know. Hey, Jeff Ripplinger checking in from Denver. So good to see you, Jeff. Before I forget, I want to remind everybody that's commenting tonight, because this is my 100th live stream, I am giving away 4 $20 Amazon gift certificates at random, selected from anybody who comments in the chat tonight. All you have to do is just drop a comment and just tell me where you're at, where you're watching from. We got Robert Black from Monaville, Texas. Robert, so good to see you. Chuck Fett from South Dakota. Chuck, I'm glad to have you here. RV Life, Gary here, and cooking in Orlando for the winter. There's nothing wrong with that. John Besmick says, which one of your followers is in Bushnell, Florida besides me? Boy, I'm not sure about that, John. Anybody out there in or near Bushnell, Florida? Judy Kimbrough, thank you so much. Thank you, Julie Strauss, for the anniversary wishes. Joni Portward. I like boondocking too, Joni. That's absolutely my favorite. Julie says the Army Corps are excellent and clean. Yeah, there's a really good one right there. Just, well, that might not be in Illinois. I'll take that back. Eric Meyer says city and county and city parks are mostly nice and cheap. They absolutely are, yes. Okay, so let's talk about John Besmick's question, looking for the auto start for a generator, or for his 10K. I did some research on it, and I couldn't find anything that would interface directly to your inverter charger. Okay, but Onan/Cummins, but Onan has several options for auto start equipment that will automatically start to generate based on the low battery condition. There was some differences in the serial numbers and some stuff like that, depending upon how old the generator set was. But they looked like they were essentially plug and play. The couple I saw that came directly from Onan had the cables that you plugged into the cable loom on the generator already, and basically you hook it up to power, and it worked. So John, I want to go over to though and ask RV Living Life about his 10K Onan auto start. If it's a long comment, RV Living Life, feel free to drop me an email, trbolin@gmail.com, trbolin@gmail.com, and I'll share that with John. And then we'll share it with the audience, because I think people here would probably be interested in that. I see we just had a little jump up, and just a reminder, if you do make a comment tonight in the chat window, you will be entered for a random drawing in honor and celebration of 100 live streams for a $20 gift certificate to Amazon. We'll work out the details and everything after I make the selections on how to get those to you next week. So be sure and tune in next week to find out if you won. I will be selecting from random from everybody that comments on the stream tonight. Okay, I'm going to jump off the comments for just a second, and let's just talk a little bit about the difference between roadside assistance and extended warranties. I've seen this come up on some of the forums I follow. It's a regular occurrence on the owners' forums over on IRV2. The difference is pretty distinct. Roadside assistance is intended to get you back on the road and running when you're in a breakdown situation mechanically. Okay? Flat tire, out of fuel, locked out of your rig, things like that. Just like roadside assistance for your car. The thing about roadside assistance, though, when you're looking at roadside assistance and trying to make an evaluation of which ones to get, and there are many out there, I'm not here to tout any. I will say I personally have Good Sam, and I've been very happy with it. But I also know people with FMCA, the Freightliner Motor Chassis Club's version of it. There are many others. There's TravelNet. There's tons of the roadside assistance programs out there. But you want to double check those, because sometimes you may have roadside assistance on your auto policy, and that may cover your towable. So in other words, if you're towing your trailer down the road and you blow a tire on your trailer, it may be covered on your roadside assistance policy that you have on your car or your pickup or whatever you're towing that rig with. So it's definitely worth a phone call to your insurance agent and say, hey, do I have roadside assistance, and does it cover towable or towed vehicles? Okay, some do, some don't. In that particular case, that way you'll know. But then ask about some of the restrictions associated with that roadside assistance that you may get through your insurance company. Okay, I was reading an article the other day, or a posting on one of the forums the other day, about a guy who had broke down. He was in a campground that was on down 4 miles of dirt road, and the roadside assistance he had, and I don't remember which one it was, would not tow him if he wasn't on pavement. So in other words, if he wasn't in a paved RV park, or the campground wasn't accessible from a paved road, they would not tow him. It ended up costing him $600 for the tow truck company to go and get him from the campground that he was in, that 4 miles of dirt, bring him out to the road, and then I'm assuming probably the roadside assistance company then double paid him for them to haul you back to wherever you got, wherever you had the rig hauled to. So read the fine print. That's, I think, applicable to any contract. Extended warranties, on the other hand, warrant the break and fixing of the functions of the RV, like the fridge, the stove, the furnace, the doors, things like that. Okay? I think it was RV Living Life said he just sorted out his extended warranty and was extending it. And it was it? Let me go back and see if I can find that comment real quick so I can get the numbers right. I'm pretty sure that's who mentioned that they had just got their sorted out. And of course, I'm not going to be able to find it because I'm in a hurry. Well, anyway, that sounds about right. Again, you want to read the fine print on those roadside assistance contracts, or excuse me, on the extended warranty contracts, and make sure you understand what you're purchasing. They can be really expensive. And they may exclude things that you expect them to cover, and they're specifically included or just, excluded in the contract. Another option out there as far as warranty goes is self-warranty or self-insuring. I know a lot of folks that just took some money or take some money every month and they throw it into a savings account specifically designated to repair their RV in the event of a breakdown. All right, that can be pretty effective if you don't have a major breakdown. You wouldn't take long to build up enough money to replace a fridge or a stove, furnace, something like that, right? I mean, you could build up enough of a buffer in your self-insurance fund to cover most of those things pretty fast. The other thing is that while that money sits in a savings account, you're earning interest on it, okay? Or if you never have to use it, then you're not out the $6,000 or $7,000 or $10,000 you pay up front for extended warranty that expires in 2 or 3 years. You've got that money in the bank. It's still sitting there. It's still yours to use. Now, obviously, you need to have the money to fund that self-insurance account. So, I mean, there are trade-offs in everything in life. But the main difference is extended warranties cover break fix of the equipment in the RV, fridge, stove, doors, plumbing fixtures, stuff like that, okay? And roadside assistance is strictly designed to get you back on the road and running. I'm going to cycle back here to the questions, comments. RV Living Life says, actually, first contact we had was I was on one of your lives, and I dropped into his channel and commented on my, oh, okay, yeah. I remember that now. Great. Well, they have a channel as well. She'll go search RV Living Life and check them out as well. Julie Strauss asks, any creative ideas to keep squirrels from chewing my propane rubber hose? The damn manufacturers are putting corn oil, soybean oil, peanut oil around wiring housings now. Brilliant, insert sarcasm. Julie, the only way that I know of that you can get away from that is to get a stainless braided hose with a stainless shield on it. There should be readily available. You may have to go to your RV shop to get one. You can also go to a propane supplier, somebody like anybody where you can get your propane tanks filled. Marigas comes to mind, Farrell Gas in some places, but wherever the propane supply company, and they're going to be able to get propane hoses and stuff like that. And just get one that's braided with stainless steel. It'll just have it'll look like a cable, but it'll have the hose inside. Stainless steel braided hoses are really common in automotive, particularly high performance automotive like racing and stuff like that. But yeah, that should stop. Excuse me. That should stop them from eating them. Now, I've heard of all kinds of wives' tales about putting jalapeno juice or habanero juice or even Clorox or things like that on the hoses to stop the things from chewing it, and it doesn't work. The only way you can stop them from chewing on it is just to armor it, and that should do it for you. And you probably only need to get a 3 or 4 foot line anyway, so it shouldn't be terribly costly, because in general, the propane should be hard piped from wherever the tank sits back to where the appliances use it. They don't use flexible lines usually. Now, that there may be some varying differences in manufacturers, but yeah, to get those stainless steel braided lines, it's not real expensive. I would look into that. She further asks, can you use metal tape safely? Ideas? Absolutely. Yeah, there's no reason you can't use Metal tape. I don't know that metal tape would deter them from chewing on it. I guarantee that the stainless steel braided hose will stop them from chewing on it. All right, it's half past the hour, and I usually like to do the shameless plug right now, and that is if you like the channel and you like the content of the video, a thumbs up is always greatly appreciated. It really helps YouTube rank the video up a little more, and more people will get a chance to see it. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, ring the notification bell. Tons of great videos still to come. We'll be doing the Tuesday night live streams for the foreseeable future. And so if you ever have a question or comment, you can always come over to the live stream. Also, a quick trip to check out my website at trbolin.com is also greatly appreciated, as is your support of my channel through the links you'll find to Amazon and the description of this video. As an Amazon affiliate, I get a small commission, but you'll pay the same price. You'll also find links in there for RecPro, Renogy. I'm working on a couple other agreements right now with some companies to help bring you some more discounts on equipment, RV-related equipment. And so, yeah, when you use the links or the savings codes listed in the description of the video, I get a small commission, as I said, but you'll pay the same price. And every little bit helps. Lastly, just watching my videos and the commercials in the videos helps a lot as well. All right, back over to the... Oh, and one last thing. If you're shy and you don't like to chat, and I know some people don't, or they can't chat because their phone won't allow them, if you will email me, if you're unable to chat and you want to get into drawing for the 4 $20 gift certificates to Amazon that I'm awarding at random, please send me an email, trbolin, BOWLIN, @gmail.com, and I will add your name to the list of those that commented on the video. But be sure and comment if you're just tuning in, so you'll get a chance to be drawn at random, and I'll announce the winners and make the arrangements with folks to get the certificates to you next week. Vincent RV Life. We were so Hillsborough River State Parks. Oh, we were at. I mean, that's the voice recognition for you. Hillsborough River State Park several weeks ago. Good. Okay, John. RV Life responds, I have the Energy Command 30 for controlling his 10K generator. And that is the Onan one. That's the one that's put out by Cummins. And that looked like it was pretty straightforward to install. AJ checking in from Atlanta, wishing us a happy 100th. Thanks, AJ. It's so nice to have you here from Atlanta. I spent a lot of time in Atlanta over the years, actually Norcross. Engineering company I worked with, we did a lot of work over there at Lucent at the fiber facility up there in Norcross. And then we have a couple of offices, or had a couple of offices. There's still a big office there. I'm since retired. But we still have a big office in Atlanta there in Norcross. Just the other side of the spaghetti bowl. Oh, Linda, Camp Goer One's checking in. Hi, Linda. I'm glad to have you here tonight. Oh, John found it. Looks like they're good. Okay, excellent. RV Life. We were talking about extended warranty, and he did chime in and said he got, it was $8,000 for another 4 years to re-extend the warranty. It covers everything, parts and labor, as long as they have to buy a part. Gotcha. He goes on to say, if they don't need a part, it's considered maintenance and not covered. So it's break fix. That's good to know. Dale Peterson says, congratulations on my 100th. He's currently watching from his home, a Tioga 24D in Oregon. Thanks, Dale. It's so happy to have you here tonight, and thanks for commenting. Scotty says, I've always paid for towing on my USAA insurance policy for the fifth wheel. I wonder if it would be worthless should I ever need it. No, I think USA, I think USAA is a good, solid, upfront insurance company, and I wouldn't worry about them too much. Campgore One asks, she says, I got a question. What can I do to a wood-built truck camper to protect the wood? It was coating with truck bed liner paint currently. So it's coated with truck bed liner paint. Well, I don't know if you would need to do any more than that. What condition are the seams in? In other words, if it's a wood built, is it wood on the outside? I'm assuming it is. What condition are the seams in? Were all the corners and everything, are they all sealed up nice and tight? You don't see any gaps or any cracks in any of the, I'm going to call it bed liner, is what it sounds like what it is. As long as it's all in good shape, I don't know that there's a whole lot of maintenance you need to do. I'll think about that one for just a second. But yeah, as long as the seams are all good and there's no obvious soft spots in any of the wood, so it doesn't look like it's leaking. Julie Strauss says she had seen those. We were talking about the stainless steel braided hoses, but didn't know they made them as long as the length of a camper. Oh yeah, you can get them that long. I don't know if you will need one that long though. Are your hoses underneath the camper flexible? They should be. Those should be steel. I think by DOT regulations, any of the propane lines attached to the frame. Now I might be wrong. But any of the propane lines running in the frame or attached to the frame or around the frame, I think they're supposed to be steel. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, you can get them any length. They can be made just like hydraulic hoses. Yeah, Scotty says Amazon is full of braided propane tank hoses. Thanks, Scotty, for checking that out. Yeah. Julie says it's not the pigtail, but rather it runs under the camper. No hard lines. Okay, what's the manufacturer of your camper? Just question mark. And yeah, the propane lines aren't that specific. The only thing specific about propane lines is they are typically brass fittings. Okay? Now they may be silver in color, but they should be brass. And the reason they're brass is that brass doesn't generate sparks. Okay? And so whenever you're working with a flammable gas, propane, you want to make sure that your fittings are brass and those sorts of things. Because if you, for whatever reason, hit the valve or something like that, and you'll notice that the valve on the propane tank is also brass, you don't get sparks generated. So that's about the only thing that you might want to watch for if you're buying this braided hoses. They should be They should be marked as propane, or they should obviously have brass fittings. Those are the two things to look for. A Jayco 2021. Okay. Yeah, that's. Well, I thought, well, maybe it's only motorized chassis. Oh, that's probably what the difference is, because I remember reading about this a while back. Now my memory is coming back to me. Yeah. I'm a little surprised too, Julie, that they're not steel. By the way, those Jayco trailers are made about 110 miles from here in Twin Falls, Idaho. I've been thinking that I'm going to try to reach out to the company and maybe I'll get them to take me on a tour. That might be fun. Before I forget about it, if you're just joining the stream, this is a celebration of the 100th live stream RV Q&A series, and in honor of that, 4 lucky viewers who comment in the chat window will be selected at random to receive a $20 gift certificate. I will announce the winners next week and make arrangements to get the certificates to you. So be sure and make a comment. All you have to do is just say, where you're watching from. That's really all we need tonight. I just want to know that you're out there and watching. And we'll make it special for you too. You guys are what make this live stream possible. If you guys weren't here, I'd be talking to myself. I do enough of that all day anyway, so it's always nice to have friends. Let me circle back to the chat here. Kat says, love your channel. We have been watching all of your videos while we contemplate restoring a 92 truck camper. Excellent. It's a lot of fun, you know. In fact, towards the end tonight, one of the things on my list of questions to ask, besides if you're just joining, the question of the day is, what's your favorite place to go camping? State campground, BLM, Forest Service, fishing game, whatever. Throw it over in the chat window, and I appreciate that. We'll keep running by those questions as we get to them. Anyway, back over to the chat. Julie says, not the pigtail. Okay, thank you, Kat. Don't hesitate to ask me any questions about that camper rehab. It has been so much fun. I was just thinking about it because honestly, the video that runs next Monday night is one of the last ones I recorded before I had to leave last fall on the 10th. I think it was the 10th. Might have been the 11th. Either way, September. I remember I was driving on the 11th of September because there was a bunch of stuff on the radio about it. to get out to my dad's in Arkansas, where he retired. We're from Idaho, by the way. I was not born in Arkansas. I'm an Idaho native. And then, of course, if you follow the channel, you know that he passed away in October last year. But with that all going on, the camper got put under cover, and the weather has not cooperated for me to work on it since I got back at the end of last October. So I'm coming right up on the end of the content that I have recorded. But I think we're going to, keeping your fingers crossed, daylight savings time ends next week. I wish they'd end it forever, but that's the end of the commentary there. And you know what, is spring 13 days away? 13 days and change. So hopefully the weather will start to improve and my attitude will as well. So yeah, back to the chat here. You're welcome, Julie. Let us know how it turns out. Tim says the Cummins generator controller will also bring the Jenny on based on temperature in the RV for pet owners. Oh, excellent. That's good to know. Yeah, that's pretty cool. RV Living Life. They use CoachNet for roadside and they go off payment to get to you, but they only boost or tow. Repairs are not covered. They will send a repairman, but you have to pay them for repairs. Yeah, we're talking about maintenance and roadside assistance differences. I will say that Good Sam RV roadside is what I carried and still carry, and I was never disappointed in them. They always came and got me, even if I was off the road. I've been towed 3 times. 3 times by Good Sam, once by the Freightliner dealer in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Anyway, Sioux City, one of those Iowa towns. You think after spending $30,000 on a new motor, you'd remember the name of the town. I think it was Sioux City. Anyway, that said, we'll get back to the comments here. Camp Glory One, she says, I'll go see it tomorrow. I'll send photos. Okay, cool. Thanks, Linda. I'll look forward to those photos. And what we were talking about CoachNet and RV roadside assistance, and I was always happy with Good Sam. I'm not I'm not affiliated, but Good Sam always took care of me, so no complaints there. Tim Myers said his LP lines are black iron until they splay off to the appliances. Yeah, mine are all steel as well. Even in the truck camper, they're copper. And then on my Class A, they were all steel. And I think on a rolling chassis, a powered chassis, I believe they have to be hardlined, except from like the regulator to the tank and stuff like that. And then, of course, the appliance connection. Oh, no, we're happy to have you comment, RV Living Life. I'm just going to call you RV Living. Everybody that comes here, they're not all new, and having guys and gals with lots of experience here is always super nice, because I don't have all the answers. I'm the first one to mention it. I say this teasingly. There are no dumb questions, only dumb answers from the host. And so having you guys out there to keep me online and keep me in line is always greatly appreciated. So never hesitate to comment, never hesitate to put out an alternative viewpoint. This is a safe channel, a safe show where you can ask any question. You will not be belittled. There are no stupid questions. And yeah, definitely Tim Myers said it in as fewer words than I did. All input is appreciated. Absolutely. Yeah, that's important, and that's a good point. RV Living Life, we're talking about propane, and never over tighten propane fitting, finger tight, then a quarter to half a turn with a wrench. I just leak test mine, every time I hook up my tanks and that stuff. And then it's always a good idea to, once a year, go around and leak check all of your fittings as a maintenance step. All you need is a little bit of soapy water, a tablespoon of dish soap, and a pint of water in a spray bottle. Turn the gas on, go around, spray down every fitting, and look for bubbles. If you got bubbles, you got a leak, tighten it up. It's pretty straightforward. It's not rocket science. Julie Strauss says she has propane heat in her house and kennel, so she's familiar with it, but was very surprised about all rubber hoses on the camper. Yeah, I am too. I don't want to be belittling any any RV manufacturer. I think they all do a good job to a certain extent. I mean, there are price points and price points, and if you buy a $250,000 RV, you can expect to get certain things, and if you buy a $25,000 RV, you can expect to get certain things and levels of fits and finishes. And I'm not, I don't want to, I want to look down or say anything bad about a particular manufacturer. I will, though, when it's warranted. I'm not going to pull punches. Robert says if I pick him, he donates the 20 back to me. Thanks, Robert. That's really nice of you. Yeah, an RV Living Life. Yeah, 8,000, 8K, and that was Canadian dollars anyway, right? If memory serves me correctly, that was Canadian. May seem like a lot for a 4-year extended warranty, but he has an Integra bus, and nothing is cheap to fix on that. Just driving by the deal cost $2,000. Yeah, every time you pull onto the lot anywhere for a repair shop, people start seeing dollar signs. The affectionate term for boats is BOAT, bust out another 1,000. And that couldn't be more true than it is with a land yacht like an RV. 8K doesn't seem like a lot if you blow an engine or you drop a tranny. 8K won't even touch those. Okay, Eric, so noted and recorded. Thank you, Kat. Yeah, thank you so much. Scotty, our 8K is not a lot, no matter how you spend it. Is a lot, no matter how you spend it. I can see how it pays for itself well. Yeah, after 30K, I might want to forget. I try to, Tim. I really try to. What I'm referring to, in 2017, I was headed north out of Sioux Falls, Sioux City, southeast corner of Iowa. I think that's Sioux City. Anyway, and I was headed north and driving along just fine, and I dropped a valve, and it ate the turbo, it ate the head, it ate the cylinder, and that was a Cat 3126, which is essentially a C7 with a computer put on it. And if you're not familiar with the Cat C7s, you can't sleeve them, so when you destroyed the cylinder, you destroyed the block. And so I ended up having to put a short block in it. When everything was said and done, it was just under 30,000. Robert Black says, we all have life experiences to share and help others. Absolutely, and that's why I love doing this. Yeah, Windex actually does work good. Window cleaner, yeah, just as long as it's soapy water. I've used Windex. Usually I just use whatever I have on hand, sometimes spit, because spit works too, but it's kind of disgusting if you go around spitting on all your propane fittings. Scotty, on my channel, search for the $30,000 engine quandary. A video would have been posted in probably, I want to say, June or July of 2017, 6 years ago. Kevin Coops in. Hi, Kevin. Good to see you tonight. We're happy to have you here. Hope your grandkids are still enjoying your company and that you're enjoying theirs. Tim Meyer says, a friend of his just replaced the turbo on his C7. Yeah, they're not cheap. Okay. So, Bruce Myler. Okay, Bruce, I'll answer your question in just a minute. Just as a reminder, starting, well, really this week, kind of filling it out, the question is to folks, how did you like the new format of the live stream? We started with the question of the week, did a little bit of maintenance, we run down the chat, then we'll talk about our question of, or my question, or my topic of the week, which was RV roadside assistance versus extended warranties or maintenance plans. And then we'll go back over to the chat and answer your questions. And of course, we'll be addressing your questions through the chat as might be pertinent. And so hopefully that's going to work out for everybody. It's going to help me keep things moving along. I feel like sometimes we get in a rut, and so I've been trying to make sure that we're moving people along and we're moving things along. So thanks in advance. I also try to keep these to just about 8 or about 1 hour or 8 o'clock Mountain Time. Of course, I'll keep going if the questions are there. So if there's still questions rolling in at 8 o'clock, I'll stick around till we get all of the questions answered. And so thank you. And thank you so much for making this 100th chat so enjoyable. One last comment is that those of you that have commented tonight will be entered with those of you that have excused themselves out, Eric and Robert, for a drawing for a $20 gift certificate from Amazon that we'll announce who the winners are next week, and I'll make arrangements to get your certificates to you. Bruce Myler. Hi, there's a new name. Hi, Bruce. I am so happy to see you here tonight. His question is, how hot do the coils on an RV evaporation fridge get? I've got 0 to 1/2 inch on the sides of the box. Is 1 inch of clearance sufficient around the heat exchangers on the back of the refrigerator? Okay. Depends on the fridge and those sorts of things. You should be able to find the minimum requirements as far as distance from the materials in the owner's manual for the fridge. Okay? Typically, the sidewalls, a ½ inch is fine. The sidewalls don't get hot. Okay? That would be the two sides, you know, the left and the right of the fridge. It's the rear that gets hot. And it doesn't really get hot. The only thing that really gets hot is the boiler. Okay? And that's where the coolant is boiled and evaporated to cause it to cool. So an inch sounds probably about right. It would depend on the fridge. But again, if you do a quick Google search for your fridge model, say Dometic 1200, and then look in the owner's manual for minimum distances or minimum clearances, and they should come right up and you should be able to know. If the fridge was factory installed, then you should be okay. There shouldn't be nothing to be concerned about. Now, as far as how hot they can get warm. The boiler, obviously, you have flame there. It can get very warm, you know, 200, 250, 300 degrees centigrade or higher. But it is wrapped in fireproof insulation. The boiler is wrapped in metal. It is extremely well shielded and protected. It also should have some kind of a thermocouple cutout on it that protects it from overheating and those sorts of things. So Bruce, a quick Google search, or you could just post what your model is, and we'll run and look for it real quick right at the end of the stream tonight and see if we can find the minimum clearances for it. But that sounds about right. That sounds about right. They're actually, you know, they're built pretty much to take a minimum amount of space. Oh, thanks for posting that link, Tim. Appreciate that a lot. All right, it says here, RV life, RV living. I'm retired. I work on my rig daily. If it's 2 p.m. and I have not done something on the coach, I feel guilty. Currently, I'm repairing leaks and installing underglow lighting. It never ends, and love it. Yeah, you might check out my channel. I have a lot of LED lighting videos on my channel where I upgraded all the lights in my Class A to LED. And in fact, the truck camper I'm rebuilding will all be LED as well. So yeah, I love doing that kind of work. I really enjoyed the work on the truck camper. And okay, Linda. 2, you got it. So noted. Lake Shelbyville, I have stayed there. Yes, thank you. But I also stayed at Lake Taylor, Julie. Lake Taylorville. And that was just outside of Taylorville, Illinois there. About, I want to say, 45, maybe 45 miles south of Springfield. Beautiful country, though. Absolutely. All right, let's see here. RV Living Life says, like the show, you seem to be a knowledgeable guy. I love that. Why didn't I find you sooner? I'll be back. Thanks. I don't know. You know, I'm my own worst enemy. I don't do any cross promoting at all. I'm going to change that a little bit, though. I'm trying to do a lot better job of letting folks know that the stream is out there, and you folks can help too by sharing it and sharing my channel on your favorite forums, whether it be at IRV2 or any of the RV forums. That all helps greatly if you share my content, my channel, specific videos for folks that might be having a particular issue that I have a video on how to fix. That kind of stuff is super, super helpful, and I would be deeply appreciative. Julie says he remembered the name of the Corps of Engineer campground. I may have been thinking, okay, Lake Shelbyville. Yep. Yeah, RV Life. Tim is a moderator, and so he's out there to keep people in line. Most of the regular commenters, we hardly ever have any trouble. Sometimes live streams get the attention of the spammers, and so they'll come in and start spamming the chat and that kind of stuff. And so having a moderator that can go and put those people into timeout or kick them off the channel is super helpful. It keeps me focused and concentrating on answering your questions and not worrying about when the spammers are taking over. Thank you, Bruce Myler, for coming tonight. It was so nice to have you here. I hope you come back again. And thank you, Julie. Thanks, Scotty. Camp Gore 1. Kevin Coop, you like the new screen? Yeah, thanks. I thought it was about time. Scotty says TR and I met over a poop show on the YouTube biogeomethod. Probably, well, that is my most famous and most interesting video. And just to let you know, I have spent the last 3 weeks writing the script, updating that video. And as soon as I get some new lighting, which hopefully will be here like Wednesday, I'll get my green screen set up and I'll be doing some recording and with an eye on releasing that video towards the end of the month. All right. So last call, it is 8 o'clock. I usually try to keep these to about an hour. So we'll just, I hope you're here for the next 100 too, Judy. Gosh, it's been so nice to have you here. Tim Meyer says he stayed at Axtell Campground near Rough River State Park in Kentucky. It is also a Corps of Engineers campground. I've not been there, but I've stayed in Kentucky several times, many times, and I liked Kentucky a lot. Thank you, John. It's so nice to have you here. TR stands for totally radical. That's the only politically correct abbreviations for TR that I can use on a family channel. I will let your imagination run wild. In short, it's short for Tracy Ray, but only my mother called me that, and only when she was pissed at me. Tracy Ray Bolin, you get your house in this house right now. I'm sure you all know that. Alrighty. Last call for questions. There's usually about a 2 or 3 minute latency window, and so I try to just kind of hold it out just a little bit at the end. But I want to say thank you to everybody that's here tonight. All the regulars, Judy, Scotty, Kevin, Tim, Eric. You know, we missed Tom tonight, but he might be out. He might be out camping in his new boat. One land yard wasn't enough. He had to get another hole in the water to throw money in. That's another nickname for a boat. Alrighty. Thanks everybody so much for joining the live stream. Tune in next week at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, and we'll catch up then. Quick answer to Linda. It's hard to say, Linda. I mean, you know, the way life changed. I've got my brother living with me now here. He's disabled, and so it complicates my traveling longer distances. I think we'll get it sorted out, but for right now, I couldn't say. I mean, I would love to be there next winter for a while. Fingers crossed. Okay, thanks guys. I greatly appreciate it. Scott Mogitz is here in time for the end. No worries, Scott. You can pick up the replay. It's always great to see you. Dale Peterson, thanks, Dale. You take care out there in Oregon. Try to stay dry. Good night, Tim. Good night, Linda. Good night, everybody. I really appreciate you all. Be sure and leave that like. Hit that thumbs up, and we'll see you next week. Till then, peace. Good night.